Hello, good morning. We will try to write a Java program for sending mail using SMTP. For sending or for writing the program, we need a mail account, Eclipse ID, and Java runtime environment. And these are the prerequisites, and Java provides the Java Mail API for developing these type of programs. And we will use Java Mail API, and for developing the program we need to follow these steps. First of all, you have to create a mail account, then you have to create a new Maven project using Eclipse, then we have to create the Java class, and finally we will test the Java code. And for the first step is to create a mail account. So we will create a Rediff mail account because the Rediff mail is easy to implement the SMTP. So for that I am going to create an account in Rediff mail, and here you have to give the name and the Rediff mail ID, password, and the alternative email address. Whatever the things are required, those things you have to provide, and we will create a Rediff mail account. And here you can see I created an account with the name of kchandravi@rediffmail.com, and I will use this account. And also there is another account is also there, that is krcvvkskit@rediffmail.com. I will use these two accounts for implementing the SMTP. And here you can see that here in the settings there is pop by SMTP access, and we have to activate this. And for that I will enable this SMTP and pop for this account. It is a mandatory thing. Why? Because if you will not enable, we cannot do anything. So after enabling this, again in the settings we have to create a password for the third party. So I will also create that password. The password is like this, and this type of password we will create, and its validity is 6 months. And after 6 months again you have to change. Means for using this SMTP program, for using in this SMTP account, we have to use this type of passwords. Then we will try to create a Maven project using Eclipse. For that we have to install Eclipse IDE in our system. So here you can see it is a freeware software, and after installing this we can see the page like this. And instead of this we have to choose the new and then project, and here we have to create a Maven project, and these are the steps to create the Maven project. So we had created the Maven project, and for this it will ask some of the options like this. So first option is create a simple project. Why? Because I am taking a very simple project, and click on next. After that you give some group ID, whatever the project I am taking. For example, if I am taking my project as SMTP mail, so that I will write at the place of a group ID. And similarly you have to give the group ID in parent project is also SMTP email, and whatever the things are required, those things you have to provide, and what are the unnecessary things, those things you have to remove. So here the packaging is a jar like that, and here I will give the name also as SMTP email. And after that in the parent project here group ID equal to SMTP email, that thing I have to remove. And in the description I have to type something, what is the purpose of this project. Here the purpose of my project is sending email using SMTP. And after that I have to click on finish. But before clicking on the finish, you can observe that we have to remove this parent project group ID. Why? Because we had created a simple program, so we have to remove this. Whenever I will remove this, then only the finish option, that is the finish button, will appear. So I am removing this here. Then you can observe that we have to click the finish. After finishing, you can observe that in the left side of the bar in the Eclipse ID I can see that SMTP email, and already the project is built. So for the building this project automatically, we must keep in your mind that the internet must be on. And here you can see there is a file named as a pom.xml, and this pom.xml we have to modify some of the contents of pom.xml, and here you can see that this is the default pom.xml and we have to modify this. Then it requires some dependency, Maven dependency, and the dependency we have to add in our file, that is in pom.xml. And where we can find this dependency means we have to go for mvnrepository.com website, and there you have to type like com.sun.mail, then you have to search, and after that some options will come, and instead of those options you have to search for this, and you can see our purpose is SMTP, so we will click on SMTP and it will give you some options, and instead of those options you can see that Java Mail API is there. We have to click on this. Whenever we will click on Java Mail API, we have some of the options as 1.6.2. why? Because you are using 1.6.2 Java version, so you have to take 1.6.2, and there is code is there. That code you have to click, that is automatically it will be selected, and after that you have to copy this code and you have to paste it inside of that pom.xml file. So here after description I will paste it here, whatever the code just I copied, and there is an error mark is there. For that you have to add the tags as dependencies and dependencies, so I am adding this. After adding this that error will gone. So dependencies and instead of these dependencies I have to copy the copied code. So that is the updation I have to take in the case of pom.xml file. This is the setting I have to I have to do. So after completing this task, its task is over, then we will move to the next thing. So next one is we have to create a Java class, so where our main and everything will go, that is whatever the business logic is there, that we have to write in the class. So for that what we will do is, first of all we will select SMTP email, and inside of this we will go to we have to select this. Yes, we have to create a new Java package, and we will give this name as com.smtp email. What is that project name? So this is our package name, com.smtp email, and we will click on finish. So you can observe that the package is created, com.smtp email. Right click on it, then you create a new class inside of this. So go to new, then class, and double click on the class. So a class, it is asking for the name of the class, so I will take the same name as SMTP email. This is my class name, and you can observe that the package name is com.smtp email and name is SMTP email. Then I have to click on public static void main string args, so that it will create that main class inside of the SMTP email class, and this is our main class. And you can observe here that the package name is com.smtp email and my class name is SMTP email, and inside of this main is there. And then what I have to do is I have to create a new folder. And that folder name is I am taking as lib folder. Why? Because inside of this lib folder we have to place two jar files inside of the Java API, that is mail.jar file and activation.jar file. For that I had created a lib folder in my project, that is SMTP email, and I will open this lib folder and I will import the jar files which are already I had placed in my file system. And wherever the jar files are there, we have to go to that location, and after going to that location I had already placed a file named as instead of jar files I had placed a files instead of this jar. So I will select this jar files folder, and I will select this folder. I can see the list of jar files inside of this, but here I will take Java xmail API 1.6.2 .jar file, because I am using the Java version. So I will import this into my jar files folder, and whenever I will take this, automatically activation jar will also come in my case. So whatever the jar files I had copied inside of the lib folder, that is library folder, I have to build this so that it will be, these jar files will be available to my project. So for that, what I have to do is I have to click that is I have to right click on this Java xmail API 1.6.2 .jar file. After right clicking, you can observe here build path option is there, and on the build path you just select add to build path. So you can observe here that this jar file is now available to our project, so that you can see in the under referenced libraries you can see this Java xmail API 1.6.2 .jar, which is linked with my project. So I can use now this jar files is available to me, so I can use the Java API functionality in my project. So now I will try to write the main program. So inside of the main program I have to take 3 steps. The first step is creating the session object, then the second step is composing the message, and the third step is sending the message. For every SMTP program it requires 3 steps: session object, get the session object, then compose the message, and the third one is sending the message. For that I need some of the variables are required. So first variable I am taking it as a user, and that user is kchandravi@redifmail.com that I took, and the second one I required host variable. Host variable I am taking smtp.redifmail.com. This is nothing but my SMTP server address. Why? Because I am using this SMTP address, server address smtp.redifmail.com. Then I had created some password there for SMTP. That password just I took in password variable, and after that another variable 2 is there. So whatever the message I am trying to send into another mail, that mail address I have to write. So I am taking it instead of this 2. Then then the first step is to create the session object. For creating the session object I have to take the properties class, and for this class I am creating an object props, and here it is I had created as a new properties by calling its constructor. Then I am taking 2 parameters to this, that is to this object props. I am added the host value, that is smtp.redifmail.com. Then authorization I enabled it to true, means it will require username and password whenever it is connecting to this. And after this just I had created a session object. Why? Because for doing the whole work I need a session. So I had created a session object, and this session object is there is a method is there inside of this session class, that is get default instance, and it requires 2 parameters, that is properties and authenticator. And this authenticator is using a password authentication, which is a repository for the username and password. And for passing this is username and password, I used a password authentication function, and by using this I had passed this. So now this session object, using this session object I will do everything. So next the second step is composing the message, means whatever the message I have to compose, means from where I am sending, to whom I am sending, what is the body part and what is the subject. These things I will write in the composing the message. And here you can see there is a my message class is there. Actually the message is an abstract class, and this my message is a child class for this. So I will implement this my message. By using this my message we can do everything, that is we can send text, or you can send graphics or music, whatever it may be. That is nothing but the my message. And here I am linking this my message with the session, and after that I enabled this from address, then the to address, that is the mail IDs, and then the third one is I used the transport.send method, and before that some text is added, means this is simple program to send email using Java Mail API. The text I am trying to send it, and whenever I will use the transport.send of message, the message is transferred. So I am writing inside of this try block. So after sending the message I will get a confirmation message like that the message sent successfully. And you can observe here the imported files. All these imported files are added automatically, no need to add one by one. So why? Because I am using a Maven project instead of this Eclipse. So whenever I use the type of classes or objects, automatically those things will be created. And finally I wrote the exception catch block, and after that I had executed this program. And you can see after executing we will get the confirmation message that like message sent successfully. So here you can see this by testing the Java code. So whenever I had executed this, I have to get a message like the message sent successfully, that we will see whether you got this message or not at the bottom. So see here, that button we have to click, means it is the run button instead of Eclipse. So after clicking on this, you can see that the message came as message sent successfully, means I had sent a message using the SMTP. So we can check our email account that whether that message is reached to the destination email or not, that we have to check. So we will check our mail inbox for this message, whether the message came or not. So you can see here we got a message in our email, that is SMTP email program, that is the destination email. So you can see here this is simple program of sending email using Java Mail API. So like this we can do the that we can implement the SMTP program. Thank you for watching.